All right.
Noodle.
Happy Noodle. Yeah. Our niece, when she was 3, we went on a ski trip and our little niece couldn't say New Year. And she was like, Happy Noodle. And she said it all through New Year's Day. So that's what our family says on New Year's. Happy Noodle. So we're excited to be with you. And I know that since convention and in the last couple of months, Optavia has been really kind of amping up and trying to educate us all on understanding how we can support clients and kind of opening new doors with helping people with medically supported weight loss and how we're going to be partnering with LifeMD and all of that. And a lot of people are like, I'm kind of overwhelmed. There's so much information. I don't even know where to start. How do I learn everything? Well, let me just put a plug in for Optavia's corporate team. If you go to Optavia Coach Answers, there's an incredible document library where you can find a lot of information. But what we thought we would do tonight for you is give you kind of an overview so you have a little bit of an understanding and it's not intimidating and it's not scary and you don't feel like you aren't qualified to help clients that are maybe seeking that additional support for their own weight loss journey. So we thought we would do that for you and maybe give you a little bit of advice on how to brand and how to get the word out that you can help people like that. So this is not going to be, there's a lot more detail that we could go into, but we're just going to give you an overview. And then we are happy to help you. Your mentors and coaches are happy to help you. If you have specific questions or you start working with people that are asking questions, let me say up front that we do not expect you to be medical experts. So the physicians are going to be the ones who are determining who qualifies and who doesn't qualify for medically supported weight loss. Our jobs as coaches, it's really not, it's no different. We're still just going to support them, guide them to their resources of coach, community, education, and nutrition. So there's going to be a few different kits we're going to talk about that are available now, but it's the same stuff we already offer. So don't be scared to help clients that maybe are seeking that extra support because your role is no different. And we don't want you to feel like you have to now know all this medical stuff because you don't. And we really don't want you giving medical advice. We want you to refer them back to their physician with any medical questions. Okay. So when they were telling us that, I was like, phew, because I knew when I came into Optavia as a client, I was like, I am not a nutrition expert, but I know when I eat this food, I feel better and I get great results. So I was learning about what was in the food, but I'm not a nutrition expert by any means, but I just know the program worked for me. And we don't expect you to be a nutrition expert or a medical expert. We want you to know the resources are there. We are guiding people to the resources. And in this case, it would be back to their physician or their LifeMD contact. And so don't be intimidated by that, right?
Right. We've stunned them. There's no comments going through. Everybody's just like,
don't be scared.
What is happening?
Oh, yeah. So we're going to share a little screen with you. And let me tell you this, too. Andy and I are learning right along with you. We probably know just a smidge more on some things, but we're learning right alongside you. We are not experts either. So we may not know all the answers, but we're happy to find information and give you some answers if we know them. So let's get right to it. So like we already said, your role really doesn't change. How does that medically supported weight loss fit with all of our other programs? What's the same and what's changed is what we're going to talk about tonight. So this is straight from Optavia. Our mission remains unchanged. We meet people where they are with tools that can support them through their personal journey, helping them achieve lifelong transformation. And kind of our new tagline, which I love, is making a healthy lifestyle second nature. Because when people make a healthy lifestyle second nature, it becomes a long-term lifestyle and it becomes a habit. And that's what we're really trying to do is help this lifestyle for people that are seeking, especially, we know all of our clients want to not just get to a goal, but they want to stay there. And so we want to help them, especially with these medically supported weight loss clients, because there's some different concerns and different fears that they have that we can really, really help them with. So do you want to add anything to this at all?
No, absolutely fantastic.
Okay. All right. I'll let you share this one. We got a lot of information.
So this is some of the stuff. You may have seen this slide before, but we just want to put it all together. Is why is Optavia shifting, or why did they take this direction? And they did a ton of research. And one of the things, some of the things that they found, you guys can read it, but 50% of people looking to lose weight loss were open to medically supported weight loss solutions. So and we expect that number only to go up. There is still a little bit of shame and condemnation around it, like, oh, you have to use it. But it's actually just another tool to have in the toolbox. So I think that's a fantastic thing. 80% of people are open to weight loss medication are interested in a combined offer with Optavia. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later, but basically what they're saying is they get it, right? They don't want to be, nobody wants to be on a shot or on a drug forever and ever and ever. And so they're like, okay, so what's next? How do I move forward? How do I move through that? The analysts project the GLP-1 market, semaglutide, Ozempic, Mounjaro, those are all GLP-1s if you don't know. And GLP-1 just stands for glucagon-like peptide. It's an enzyme in your body. It's an incretin, actually. But they think that the 100 billion market by 2030 is an increase from what they expected to be 30 billion before this thing all kind of started taking off. And there we go. And last but not least, we are a pro-health company, meeting people where they are. And so if that's where they're going to be, this is a tool that they are going to use. And as you guys have looked at it, and as we go through this slide, you're going to see that Optavia really does go really hand in hand with what the medically supported weight loss is trying to get to.
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the concerns that people that maybe are researching it or currently on medically supported weight loss might be, number one, the expense of the medication, because a lot of times it's an out-of-pocket expense. Insurance doesn't cover it very often, depending on their medical concerns. It typically does have some side effects, not for everyone, but some people get nauseous, some people have headaches and some different things. And so that there are some side effects that might be a concern. Losing muscle is a major concern because they're just not as hungry. And so they're not bringing in as much nutrition. And so their body is going to start to lose muscle or to use muscle as a fuel source. And we know that can be really dangerous and so not healthy. They're also worried about gaining their weight back because that's very common that if people don't have habit transformation, they will gain their weight back if they go back to eating how they did because their appetite's going to come back to normal. And a lot of them are concerned about long-term, having to be on a medication, especially an expensive medication long-term.
So I want to throw in a couple of things there. So side effects are always different for every person, right? So again, that's not something you need to be concerned about. Just know that they're out there. It's really no different than the side effects we can experience with our own feelings, right? Part of that is, depending where they're at, part of that is detox. Part of that is, how their body reacts to the drugs. Not everybody reacts the same to all drugs. We're all made different. The other thing that GLP-1s do, which is actually very different than Optavia, Optavia targets fat, right? The way it's scientifically made, it targets the fat. A GLP-1 is just going to help reduce the calories. And so GLP-1s don't have a smart factor, right? They don't just target visceral fat or adipose fat, whatever you want to call it. So the weight loss is just general. It can be bone, it can be muscle, it can be fat. And so what the studies that have been done on mostly people that were type 2 diabetics were taking this, they realized that the weight loss is going to be everything. And so what we know from what we learned from just recently when we launched Active is that we're already losing muscle mass. We don't want to lose any more. And that's why protein is going to be so important for these people as they go through to get that. So
Frank says I lose brain cells first. So
you do lose brain cells fast. That's actually true. Oh no, because the brain takes up the brain. Here's what's so crazy: the brain uses up like 25% of your total energy, right? So if you're not, that's why when you start losing weight, why you lose muscle is because the body will steal everything. It will literally eat itself to feed the brain and keep the brain going. And so that's what happens. That's why in our program you have healthy fats, because the brain loves fats. And so that keeps the brain being fed. So it is funny, Frank, but there's actually some truth to that. Yeah.
And let me say this, Andy knows more about the drugs that Optavia is kind of these medical weight loss drugs, because for 12 years, he was a drug rep selling Ozempic. So you guys might be like, I thought we didn't have to be experts. And
I was a pharmaceutical rep.
Well,
I was not a drug. I was a legal drug rep. We like to put that term in there.
Yeah.
Come on now.
So he probably knows more. He knows way more than I know about it because he knows that's what he did. So, but I don't want you to be intimidated by some of the big words that he's using and things like that, because he just is very knowledgeable about, which is awesome. I'm so excited, but he knows this medication and the side effects and the benefits and the risks and all of that stuff. So be happy that he is part of your mentorship team because he knows this medication very, very well.
But like I always told my medical professionals, no, I did not go to medical school. And there are lots of really good physicians, nurse practitioners, and PAs that know a ton about this as well.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
we always defer to their experience.
And even we will send any client that we work with that's on medical weight loss, if they have questions, we will say, you need to speak to your physician. Because even though he's got a lot of knowledge about it, and he might be able to say, well, here's what we've seen, but go to your physician for that. So we just want you to feel super comfortable that you don't have to be an expert in that area. So let me tell you this. So these are some of the common concerns that people might have that are looking at this option. And this is where we, as Optavia coaches, really feel like we are so perfectly positioned to help them, because we have the personal coaching. We have this incredible community support with our Elevate team and just within our community. We have the high protein portion control meals that are going to help people that are not going to be very hungry get nutrient dense meals in, because they're not going to be able to eat a whole lot of food. They just don't have the appetite for it. And then we have the habit transformations for long-term results. So we really are the perfect partner for somebody who is seeking that, because that's usually the biggest concerns are those things that we have.
And there's one thing I was going to say on the last slide too is, I know a lot of you, I could say, put a 1 in the chat if you got off a medication. Not because of Optavia, but because you got healthy, right? And why do we celebrate that? It's because most of us don't want to be on any medication, right? Our goal is always to get off medication so that we can do that. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, these clients are just going to use this drug over and over. No, they don't want to do that. That's my personal feeling, is that they don't want to be on any drug longer than they have to. But they're going to use it just like you might use it to get your cholesterol down while you're doing that, or get your blood pressure down, right? We use those drugs we want to use them for a short term to do what they do really well. And then we want to keep getting healthy, right? Who got off a type 2 diabetes drug because their insulin resistance came down because their weight came down? So we're doing exactly the same thing. We're just adding another tool to the toolbox. And don't be afraid that people are going to go like, well, I'm just going to keep going back to that. There's always a group that will, but most of us don't want to take medications if we don't have to. That's why most of us are on here and sort of coaching, is like, I want to just be healthy. I want to use food as my medicine, food is my medicine, not medicine is my food. I don't remember, something like that. There was a really good quote. Somebody will know it. Put it in there.
I can't remember either. Something like that. How funny. So here's our 2 new target audiences. So we're going to kind of go through a lot of different things and what their fears or what their concerns might be. So Optavia has done a ton of research for the last several months working with the pilot program and the pilot team, and they really identified these 2 target audiences. So the first one is the now what client. This group has already taken the medical weight loss medication, but they understand that it's not enough without some lifestyle changes and some habit transformation. So some of the things those clients are probably experiencing, and you might have lots of friends that are taking the medication, but maybe they aren't talking about it yet. Here's a quote that I just love that somebody said the other day. They said, do you remember when Botox first came out? And nobody talked about that they did Botox. It was like this underlying top secret thing. But a lot of people, once it became common, it was like, oh, this is where I go for Botox and this is where she goes. And it was just like this common conversation. There was no shame or guilt in it anymore because everybody was very comfortable with it. Well, right now, there's probably a lot of people that are maybe doing this medical weight loss and not talking about it because maybe they're embarrassed, or they were like, I needed this extra help and I didn't want to admit that and all that. There is no shame whatsoever, no guilt whatsoever, because there are definite benefits to these medications that maybe a lot of people, they said 80% of the people are really considering it. And so a lot of people need the extra help, maybe with some issues. Maybe they have some health concerns. Maybe it's menopause. Maybe it's just addictions to sugar or different things that they've really struggled with. And so we are just so happy that we can meet them where they are. And the conversation is going to get more comfortable. We're going to hear more and more people just saying, yeah, I'm using that because I really needed the extra assistance. And again, no shame in that. So the now what people, these are some of the things that they might be experiencing, is they're confused. They feel confused or alone because they're maybe not getting a lot of guidance. Maybe they went to the doctor prescribed something and just kind of left them to figure it out on their own. They are likely not consuming adequate nutrition with a limited appetite. So they're definitely not getting good nutrition in. A lot of times people like might be making bad choices. Like maybe they go out and they'd eat like a half a pizza for dinner, and now they're only eating a piece of pizza, but they're still not getting good nutrition because they're still eating just pizza. And if we can help them with getting good nutrient dense food, that's going to help them long term more than anything. Plus, they're going to feel so much better.
What if it's an Optavia cauliflower crust pizza?
That's awesome.
Okay.
We'll teach them how to do that. So they want lifestyle advice and they want accountability. I mean, who doesn't want that? We all benefit from that. A lot of times they have no idea how and when and what to do about exercise. And one of the things that we do hear most often is that when people are on the medically supported weight loss, they are really encouraged to exercise. That's almost like you must exercise, and they really want them to do resistance training to protect those muscles from not getting used and starting to do what Dr. A always says, sarcopenia. So I think that's the right word. I sound really smart now, but that's not very smart. Yeah. So they also might have some other health issues, diabetes, fibromyalgia, disability, things like that. They most likely will experience a plateau at some time, and they are going to get frustrated. They might not know what to do, and we can help them with that. They might feel physically uncomfortable with some of those side effects. They're nauseous. They have headaches. Well, we know how to help people with nausea and headaches because we've all done that with maybe some people that have been through some detox at the beginning of their health journey. There's a big concern a lot of times for rebounding and gaining the weight back after they stop the medication. And they're wondering, am I going to have to do this for the rest of my life? Am I ever going to be able to come off these medications? So that's a huge, huge concern. And then the second.
Well, I was going to say, so just think about this, whether they go to a medical office or whether they're going to like a med spa to get this, the shot, we'll just call it the shot.
And now they're in pill form, shot. There's all kinds of different forms, but mostly it's the shot.
They're doing that. Well, a med spa doesn't have a nutritionist, a dietitian. They don't have any support at all. They're just like, take this drug. This is what's going to happen. They probably have some medical people there to help with side effects and navigate it just like you will. They just have experience as far as that goes. They're not doing that. In doctors' offices, at least in Nebraska and Iowa where I worked, they're not set up to handle all these patients. They do have some dietitians and some support people, and some offices probably do a really good job, but most offices are overwhelmed. Yeah. And so as all these people are coming in and trying to get on the weight loss component of it, they just don't have that support. And that, again, that's where don't think someone else is doing it. Mm-mm. This is an opportunity for us to step into that gap and really help them and talk to them and coach and guide them, because they aren't getting that typically from their offices as far as it goes. So
yeah, they're just trying to figure it out on their own. So they're seeking the guidance. And then the other target audience is going to be, people that are what we call hungry for help. So this group is open to taking the medication. They want more information before they make a commitment, and they're just looking for some help. So they're not on the medication yet, but they're considering it. They're probably heard about it. They've talked to people and they're hearing positive things from maybe some friends who have tried that. So there's a lot of curiosity, but they haven't actually jumped on board yet. They maybe have tried lots of other things and just feel like nothing ever works and the weight comes back. I can relate to that one from before. Before I did Optavia, I felt like I had tried every program under the sun. Again, the side effects are going to be a concern. And back to, they're just frustrated from past attempts. They're wondering about the cost. So there obviously is a cost involved. Again, the big concern is the rebounding weight, because we hear that all the time. And then that shame or guilt about having the need for the additional help. And again, it's almost like that Botox story, or when you talk about counselors, a lot of people before it was like a big deal if you had to go see a counselor. And now people are like, they see counselors for everything. So they might even see, a counselor for their business, or a coach for their business, or for their marriage, or for their parenting, or for whatever.
Why are you talking about all the coaches we've seen? That's ridiculous. That's not going to be sharing personal
stuff. There's no shame in that. That's just saying, hey, I want to get better at this. I'm going to go seek an expert who really knows more about it than I do. So
yeah, and I really think that second group is obviously the clients that we've already been talking to, right? Yeah. Those are the ones that are looking for that, they're hungry for help, and they want to know, is this a component that can work for it? I think again, it opens up the number of people that we have talking about it, because there's always going to be a group of people that know that they have to make the decision, right? We've done that with them. Mm-hmm. You have to make the decision, you want to do that. But there's also a group that's like, is there a faster way? Is there a shortcut? Mm-hmm. Is there a way, we've all had those clients and health assessments. You're like, they want to have a shot. They want to do that, but they realize that that's not the end all be all. And so it's still the same client. We're just moving forward.
Yep. So I'm going to share some things. There's going to be lots of information on some of these upcoming slides. I will post them in Rise Up, so I don't want you to panic that you can't get all the info. I'm just going to kind of hit a couple bullet points on them. So one of the ways that Optavia wins and how we are set apart from our competitors, and we kind of touched on it already, is that first of all, everything's going to be in one place. It's a comprehensive coach-led program, and we have the right fuelings with the right nutrient-dense options, and they're also learning how to make healthy food with their lean and green. So it truly is the perfect package. And what makes us different from our competitors is it's a holistic approach. We already have coaches trained to work one-on-one with people in the field. They're not going to be just, some companies might say they have a coach, but it's somebody sitting at a desk that maybe has never even experienced program, where in most of our cases, most of us have, and we've experienced the need to lose weight and the things that you have to do to lose the weight and keep it off. So we may or may not have done the medically supported weight loss, but we know what it's like to struggle. We know what it's like to be frustrated, to be hopeless, to have tried every program out there and to finally find something that works. And so we can relate to these people and we can help them have hope for what could happen, whether they do the weight loss medications or just our program or the combination.
Yeah, you guys as coaches, you guys are the big difference maker. Building those relationships before they even come to that point of decision, right? All the things that we do with our branding, all the things we do to build those relationships, that is not being done by anyone else. And remember that is what, we've invested in this, but really the company's invested in you as coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at our comprehensive offer going forward and really starting January 3rd, which is tomorrow, is when we are going to be partnering officially with LifeMD. So you're going to have our coaches with the clinicians as partners, and then our lifestyle programs, community, and habits of health. So we've just added kind of another potential component to our program that we can offer people to help them, again, make that healthy lifestyle second nature. And then now we're going to get into a little bit more of I don't know if you guys realize, but Optavia really worked hard and was very selective on who we decided to really partner with. And LifeMD was the selection that they made because we have a very similar mindset, a very holistic approach to helping people. That one-on-one coaching is important to them as well. They're also able to help people in all the states. All 50 states can be working with LifeMD. And we just felt like they are the perfect partner for us to work with. So this is one of those slides I'll put up on Rise Up for you guys. I want to talk a little bit about this. This is tomorrow. So tomorrow it actually goes live. So starting tomorrow, and again, we haven't even done this yet, so we're going to be walking through this with you. There will be a portal on our ordering sites where people can kind of link to LifeMD and start that process and start that communication if they want to find out if they're even a candidate. So in the middle of this the middle column, I want you guys to look at this. So LifeMD is going to have 3 different subscription options. Month to month will be $129 a month for a client. This does not include medication, but for a client to work with LifeMD, think of it like your copay. To go to a doctor's office, you have a copay. And this is almost like their copay to work with LifeMD to get this medication. Now their medication, we don't know what they would need, how much they would need, if insurance is involved at all. So again, that's all going to be through LifeMD. But each subscription, the longer commitment they make, the bigger discount they get. So if they do a 3-month commitment, it's 25% off. If they do a 6-month commitment, it's 50% off. So that's significant. And most of the people that are going to qualify for the medically supported weight loss are probably going to be looking at a longer health journey because they have to have some like a BMI of 31, is it 30 or 31 and above? I don't know for sure exactly, but somewhere in that area, or have some other outlying health risks for like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, things like that. Again, the physicians will figure all of that out. But then on the column on the right, it talks about the new LifeMD support bonus. So you as a coach working with a client who is qualified to do the medically supported weight loss with LifeMD, you'll get a bonus for working with them in addition to what you get paid to, for their fuelings that they order. So it's a $25 bonus per month per client that is in a subscription with LifeMD. So that's just an additional, little bonus for you top of what you already get paid.
Let's check the chat real quick. See if there's any questions about those last 2 slides.
There might be. Here, I'll let you look at the chat while I go on to the next thing because we do have a lot more to cover. Yes, 30 with two comorbidities or comorbids.
Comorbidities.
That's the,
Comorbidities. Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're moving my thing, so I got to skip to this page.
Okay.
Okay. So a couple other pieces for you to understand about the collaboration is, just so you know, January, starting now, Optavia coaches starting tomorrow will be able to get through those links. So I know you'll probably be getting an email and they'll help you with step-by-step instructions on how to do all of that. But that all officially goes live tomorrow. And there'll be ongoing education and client support calls and things like that, or coach support calls, so we can keep learning about this. And then this spring, LifeMD is going to offer Optavia coaching support as an option to their patients. So for this first quarter, think of it this way. Quarter one, we are going to bring clients to LifeMD. That might be people that are maybe already on program, or maybe past clients that want to come back but need that additional support, or people that we are currently talking to with our branding and connecting with, and then we're going to bring them to LifeMD. In quarter two, LifeMD is going to start to bring people to Optavia and kind of start to make that more of a two-way sharing kind of process. And then in the fall, it's going to get even more tightly integrated. There's going to be a lot of reporting and things like that we can really see what the results might be. But also in quarter two, Optavia's got a very strong advertising campaign coming out with the medically supported weight loss success stories. So if you have a client that you know is already on medically supported weight loss and doing Optavia, please let us know about that, because we can turn in their name and they might be spotlighted in one of the stories, because Optavia is like, gather as many of those stories as you possibly can, because we want to put the word out there. We want to have true before and after stories and success stories of how Optavia has been the difference maker. So we want examples of that. So if you know people that are already in that, please, please, please let us know so we can get that word to Optavia as soon as possible. And then there was something else I was going to say about that, but I can't remember. Oh, one other thing, and I don't know for sure when and how and if this will change, but I'm imagining that down the road, we will probably be a little bit more proactive with branding with the name Optavia, because we do want to, they're going to be super aggressive with the marketing. And I'm just imagining that might be something that we want to strategically do as well. But I'm going to teach you kind of what to do now for your branding. And I'm not really putting the name out there yet, but I imagine that might change down the road. This is your business. You can do whatever you want to with it. If you're like, you want to put Optavia all over your page, you can do whatever you want. Personally, I don't, because I still want to have that one-on-one personal connection as much as possible. I want to do a health assessment. I want to talk to them. I don't want them just to go to the website and get connected with the wrong coach, the wrong program, the wrong price. You know how many times I've had somebody that found out the name and went to the website and spent $200 more than they should have because they didn't call me first. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that was such a big mistake. So that has not changed yet. And so we don't want to just put the name, I don't want to put the name out there yet, but I'm fiercely proud of Optavia and the direction that we're going. And I'm thinking down the road with all the advertising, I just want you guys to know there might be a change that we might personally do, and that's up to you what you want to do with that as well. So I'm sure you guys will have a million questions about that down the road, but I want to honor your time, and we've got, it's almost time. So this next slide, I am definitely going to put on Rise Up for you. So this is basically all of the kits that we currently offer. So the one on the far left is all of our weight loss kits with the 5-in-1, the 5-in-1 active, the 4-in-2 active, all of those. Those are what we currently have. You're familiar with them. The two in the middle are the new medical weight loss kits. The first one is the nutrition kit that's going to have 2 Optavia fuelings. They're pre-selected and already set up just like our old kits are. 2 Optavia fuelings with 2 active whey protein servings per day, because most of these clients need more protein. And then the lean and green guidance that comes with that. The other thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we are competitive with pricing, because people that are on medically supported weight loss are going to be spending money on that medication. And so we needed to be competitive in the field, and they won't need as many fuelings per day. So Optavia put together these 2 incredible kit options for these clients. So this one starts at $268, and then the one on the next column is 3 whey protein servings per day, and that one starts at $158. So this is for people that are really typically what you see with people that are on the weight loss, and again, I will post this so you guys can have a nice clean picture of it. But typically what we're recommending is that when someone comes to you and is like, hey, I'm doing the shot, or I'm getting ready to do the shot, and I wanna do your program for the nutrition, I would recommend starting them on the 5-in-1 active for that first month, because a lot of times some of those, the appetite suppressant doesn't really kick in, I don't think, until later in the month. So we want to make sure that they are getting enough of their, fuelings and good nutrition, and definitely the active or the EAAs for that muscle protection is a super important component. And then that month 2, you might go back and kind of take it down to 2 fuelings per day and adding in the whey protein or something. And it might be something that is different for every single client. So we've got new kits, lower price points, specifically for those people as their appetites are really starting to be suppressed. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. I know there was tons of info on that slide, but it's all going to be on the one that we post. And then last but not least, I wanted to share with you, what do we do now? Because you guys are probably, everybody's excited. We're like, let's just go. Like, we want to just help these people. What do we do? The best thing that we can do right now is get the word out and educate, letting people know we can help people. We're going to meet them where they are. And if they're seeking medically supported weight loss, we have the perfect program to match that up. So if you go look at some of my branding and some of the other leaders, we've kind of started to sprinkle it in. It's not like all over. It's not the only thing we're talking about. Just like when we had active, it wasn't the only thing that we talked about, but it was sprinkled into our branding. And the same thing with this, it's going to be sprinkled in. And then I'm going to put a post in Rise Up for you guys all to share. If you've got a great medically supported weight loss graphic, I've got a couple of them that I want to share with you. And then you guys can, just like we have all kinds of other content ideas for you in Rise Up, you can go borrow things from there. So let's collaborate and share ideas, so then we can all use them with our own social media to kind of get the word out and just start educating people that we can help people that are really seeking this, and give them all the support that they need for it to actually be successful, short-term and long-term. So that was a lot of information. I know a lot of you guys are like, woo, I can see you on my screen. I'm looking at Cindy. She's like smiling. You're still smiling, Cindy. Good job.
Oh, she's got a grandbaby with her. I saw that. Cute little...
I see 2 Cindys. I see Cindy in the pink shirt and Cindy Pounds on my screen. But thanks for hanging with us. Hopefully it gave you a little bit more info. I don't want you to be scared. We want you to feel confident. We also want you to know we're learning this with you. None of us are experts, but we're happy to help you. If you don't know about something or you're unsure, ask us. We'll try to get the info. Go check out Coach Answers, the document libraries where we got all this information, and it is loaded with frequently asked questions about every aspect. And we just have read through it, and we've read through it many times to get familiar with it, to equip you. So I hope you're feeling a little more confident. I hope you're excited about this whole new door that is going to open up. And I hope you realize the value that we have to offer these clients, patients, everybody that is seeking this option, because we are the perfect partner for them to really have success in their health. So it's pretty awesome.
And Cindy asked a question about calorie requirements, and there isn't one that I've seen, because they really are. I mean, this is more individualized because of how people react and as they go through. And again, I would, if there's a question about that, that's not a question that we're going to answer. That would be a question for their medical provided, or, because we would say, hey, let's try to get to our 1200. Well, that's not possible for a lot of them, just because right. What it does is the drug slows gastric emptying, which means how the food comes out of the stomach. Mm-hmm. And it really does that because that helps with if they have diabetes, it helps with their insulin. It gives it a smaller portion. So they have a hard time getting in what you might think is enough calories, which is, again, why they're losing weight, right? There's a calorie restriction that goes with that, which is why if you're only going to eat 800 calories or 700 calories, we want it to be whey protein, and the 2 fuelings that are at least going to give them some high protein and some good stuff. So that's always going to be part of that battle, but it's not something where you're going to have to say, hey, we recommend that you get X amount. It's basically, from my understanding and from what I've heard, we're trying to get them as much as possible because it also makes them feel nauseous when they overeat, when it's not emptied out. So there's going to be a fine line in there.
Yeah, definitely.
Great question, though.
Yes, great question. If you have more questions, let us know. We'll post some of those graphics for you in Rise Up, as well as a place where we can kind of throw other ideas out there. But thanks for joining us tonight. And then tomorrow night, you definitely want to be on the call, the Optavia hosted 2024 kickoff call. It is going to be a 90-minute call, I think. I'm pretty sure. So plan on it being a little bit longer. Those are recorded, but they don't post them for like another week. So if you aren't on live, you're going to not be able to get that information. And I think it's going to be really incredible because we've been able to kind of hear a little bit of what they've got planned. And I would not miss that call. If you can be on there, be on there. It's going to be worth it. It's at 7 Central Time tomorrow night. And you should have an email from Optavia about it. And I also posted it in Rise Up today. So thanks so much, you guys. Yeah, that call will be for, as far as I know, current coaches. There's
no reason. Yeah, anybody can be on
even
there.
if anybody's considering coaching, it's basically out there. Anybody can. I don't know that I would share it with a person considering coaching. It might be overwhelming. But some people can handle more than me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, you guys, thank you so much. The recordings are in Coach Answers for all the Optavia calls. So Coach Answers the document library is loaded with information. So go check it out if you never have. Thank you, Cindy Pounds, for a great training tonight for our clients. And we will see you guys all tomorrow on the call. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.